I'm so excited. All right now it says it's preparing to live stream. As soon as I hear my voice echo, I'll know that we're on YouTube. As soon as I hear my voice echo, I'll know that we are all set. Good to go. Rock and roll. So, welcome everybody. I'm glad that you're here. You are at an evolutionary new you. I'm Suzanne Wilson. I live and work based in Carefree, Arizona. And so my clients gave me the nickname, the Carefree Medium. My mission in life is to empower as many people as possible with the tools that they need to make their own direct connection with God, source, their intuition, their beloved people and pets who now live on the other side of life, their spirit guides, so that no one needs to ever go and get readings again. This is about empowerment. I started this series not to have something to do every week, but because we were in a pandemic and I was getting emails and posts from people from all over the world saying, I'm hurting. I don't know what to do. My world has been turned upside down. This is the fourth panel in the series. And when we scheduled this panel, we had not yet had the murder of George Floyd when we scheduled this panel. And so we focused this on an evolutionary new you post-pandemic. How do you pivot? How are you going to change what you need to do to self-actualize in the world? Now we have this additional pain and this additional opportunity to be the change that we want to see in the world. You may recognize that phrase from Mahatma Gandhi, and many have repeated it since. Being the change that you want to see in the world. I can't think of a better panel to have today than these three strong people who lead spiritual communities, who are being the difference in the world. I'm going to bring them on first one by one, and so they can tell you a little bit about their story. And then I've collected a couple of questions from the dozens of emails and posts that people have sent me wanting to address to this panel. We also, for those of you who are watching this as a recording or you're watching this as a live stream on YouTube, we have a live studio audience today on Zoom here as well. And so this will be an opportunity for a couple of people to be selected at random to ask a question. And I ask that the questions be those that could help anyone who is listening. We've set the intention that this will be as helpful, hopeful, and healing as possible. Now, I think I'm going to start we have three panelists. I'm going to start with just giving you a little bit of an overview about each of the three, and then you'll hear their stories. First, I think I'll go by alphabetical by first name. That's the easiest way. We have Reverend Dr. Erin Haskell, founder and TV host of Good Morning LaLa Land, which I've been on that show and it is a blast to do. And you can still see this show. It is not on lockdown. She's broadcasting live from her home. Dr. Erin is also the leader of Soulciété community. She's a New Thought minister and a best-selling author. We have Dr. Jamie Turndorf, AKA Dr. Love. You've heard me a few times on the Dr. Love radio show. She is a psychotherapist, writer, and media personality, founder of AskDrLove.com, AskDrLove.com, the web's first relationship advice site, syndicated radio and TV show host, and the best-selling author of Love Never Dies, Kiss Your Fights Goodbye, many other books. And Liz Dawn Donahue, right here from Arizona, co-founder and CEO of Celebrate Your Life, where you have seen many wonderful spiritual thought leaders and authors. And she creates one-of-a-kind events and retreats that nourish the soul, ignite the mind, and open the heart. So let's get started with Dr. Erin. Welcome.
Hello, I'm so happy to be here with your divine women. I couldn't be happier on a Saturday in lockdown, grieving and celebrating all the above and knowing the truth with you. It's such an honor. Thanks for having me.
And so it is. So tell us a little bit about your path to where you are today in
Sure. Well, as they say, religious people believe that there's a heaven and hell, and spiritual people know there's a heaven and hell, right? So for me, I grew up kind of with no rules, no regulation, no religion, no spiritual principles, kind of a bit of a mess. Was date raped in high school, had bulimia from 17 to 20, thought everything would be, all taken care of if I just got married, which I did. And I ended up having a full-term stillborn at the age of 22, which sent me on a big spiritual track, and just began to seek, as a seeker, seeking everything under the sun. And did everything from landmark forums to, conferences, to shamanism, to even Scientology, you name it, everything I could get my
Was
hands
it
on.
grief? Was it actually the grief that spurred you on in the beginning?
Oh yeah, I mean, I just was sad. I was pretty on the outside and miserable on the inside, and got my hands on some great books, which I didn't even realize till later down the line that they were all in the New Thought movement. So then when I finally found Unities and Science of Mind and all these beautiful, beautiful communities, I thought, hello, sign me up. I'm in 1,000%. So then I went through their, of course, program and became a Doctor of Divinity. So it's been an incredible journey. So happy to be here. So happy to be happy and healthy and holy.
When we're really glad that you're here too.
Mhm.
And so, Dr. Love, GB Turndorf, welcome.
Hello. So glad to be with you, meet all of your wonderful community again. We've done quite a few events together. So you wanted me to talk about how I got to where I am now?
In your mission.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's see, this is the elevator story. So I was born 3 months early, weighed only 2 pounds, and spent the first 3 months in a preemie hospital. And a psychic I knew said to me, your mission of connecting souls was born then because you didn't want to see other people suffering the pain of disconnection that you suffered. And then, of course, my family was just a total shit show of abuse. Everybody, physically and emotionally abusing each other. And I said I earned an honorary PhD when I was still in diapers. That's PEEHD, right? So
Wait.
what?
An honorary PhD, and you said it's
PEEHD. Get it?
Got it.
Right, because I was working on helping people resolve the fights and the conflicts. So I got a PhD in this while I was still a kid from all the abuse and the fighting in the first family. So then I had a premonition of the man I was going to marry from the time I was a baby, and I ended up being with that man, Jean Pain, for almost 30 years until the day he left his body from a bee sting. And the minute he was ripped from me, it taught me, the former atheist, that we don't die, and therefore our relationships are not meant to end with bodily death, because he just started making his presence known. I have all kinds of videos, proving it. So then I developed a grief resolution method that I presented in Love Never Dies, where I show you how to reconnect with your loved ones in spirit and heal unfinished business, which traditional Western grief therapy gives us no way to do. It's basically your SOL if somebody left his body before you had a chance to work it out. So then Jean came to me in a visitation, told me he was going to send me a younger man, never married, no kids. And 11 years later, he did. And the long and short of it was, that broke my heart because the guy ended up having PTSD and he disappeared. And so for the last 2 years, I poured my broken heart into finding a solution for PTSD. I couldn't help him, but my research uncovered the fact that basically we all have some degree of PTSD. And so I developed a method, and it's called the energetic system upgrade. And it includes a very special nutrient. That's the first step. So that's where we are now.
As it's an amazing story, and it's a painful story. And so I'm noticing a trend here of transformation through pain and coming out the other side stronger and empowered. Thank you. Welcome. And Liz, I'm so glad that you're here. Tell us a little bit of, I know your stories, I know everybody's stories, but I love hearing this because this is just, it's the Cinderella story of having a world that seemed kind of small, and then it's so expansive. It's global. Tell us about your story, Liz.
Oh, I love that you called me Cinderella. That's so great. Well, first of all, I just want to say I'm so honored to be here with these three powerful women, Suzanne, Dr. Jamie, and Dr. Erin. Like, what amazing stories. So, and now I'm really intrigued, and I have to know more about everybody's work and what they're doing. And now I want to study with you and do all these crazy things together. Okay, so my name is Liz Dawn, and I've been running Mishka Productions and Celebrate Your Life events for 25 years. This is our 25th anniversary, and we were supposed to be doing a big live event.
Yep.
Wow.
Sounds familiar.
I know, right? So long story short, if you've never been to a Celebrate Your Life event, you have to, because they're a blast. We, my mom and I keep saying we, my mom and I started with a phone line in her dining room on an old desk, having absolutely no idea that we were starting a company. I had no business background. I was supposed to be an actress, if you couldn't tell. And in the middle of pursuing an acting career, my life just completely fell apart. And I ended up moving to Scottsdale to hang out with my mom for a while to heal and to work with a really good therapist and get through some eating disorder stuff. Well, through the course of that, I went to work in a bookstore. My mom knew the owner. It was a spiritual bookstore. Now, we'd always been into all things spirituality. I mean, I grew up reading Ram Dass and Pat Rodegas, Two Channels Emmanuel, and the Masters of the Far East, those type of books. My mom was real woo-woo and out there in the 70s. So when it came to working in the spiritual bookstore, that was, okay, fine, I'll go ahead and do that. I'm not getting any acting gigs right now. So the owner turned to me and said, I want to do an event with this author. I think the book is going to be huge. This was in '94. The book was The Celestine Prophecy by James Redfield.
James Redfield. I've just spent some time with James Redfield in LA at a conference. Yeah. And so this little known book so far, right?
Right. Well, it became a huge New York Times bestseller. This was in 95, 94, 95 when we did our first event, standing room only. People were just packed in the place, and I loved it. It just made my heart sing. People coming together in the name of consciousness, people coming together in the name of community. All these great conversations were happening. So very organically, the business just started to grow. We started to get called by different publishing companies. Would you do an event for me? Would you do an event for me? Would you do something here? I even got a call from Wayne Dyer in 1997, and I had no idea who he was at the time.
I think that's right about the time he was getting ready to do the Tonight Show, and people would learn more about him. But you're in the ground floor of all of this.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess so. Our Celebrate Your Life conferences and our retreats and everything's under the Celebrate Your Life event umbrella now. We've done women's summits. We've done the Celebrate Your Life retreats. We're doing an event with Elizabeth Gilbert and Rob Bell, God willing, in October in person. So we do these events all over the country, and I love it.
And you have learned so much. You're a natural teacher and speaker. You're very comfortable on the stage. I've attended the events for over the last 10, 11 years. You've soaked up so much and learned so much and seen so much transformation. You've actually become a teacher yourself.
Well, the one thing that I struggled with greatly was my personal relationships, my intimate relationships with partners. And I have this wonderful, beautiful professional life, but my personal life was a train wreck, and I could not seem to get out of the dysfunctional dating cycle, meaning I kept getting into these relationships with alcoholics and people that were unemployed and people who couldn't just get their shit together.
Yeah, and nobody can relate to that, right?
Right. So I was about 46 years old at the time, and I said, okay, enough is enough. I had my last fail. And I remember this because I called Joe Dispenza up and I said, Joe, I can't do this anymore. You gotta help me figure this out, why I keep doing the same pattern. And if you don't know Joe Dispenza's work, he talks about breaking the patterns and the neural pathways. So he gave me this quick exercise, and I did the exercise, and I started to pull in everything that I knew to do. And I decided if I don't find because I just always knew that there was a life partner, somebody out there. I'd been single my whole life. There had to be one person on the planet that's healthy, that would fall in love with me. I'd fall in love with them, and right?
Exactly.
Felt it. So I put myself on the Liz game plan, And if I didn't find my partner in a year, I was going to turn myself over to this very, very expensive executive life coach who said, oh, I can help you find and undo this. Well, in 10 months, I met this amazing man named Jeff Donahue, Dr. Jeff Donahue. And wouldn't you know it, I met him on Match.com. And he is a chiropractor, acupuncturist, exercise physiology, nutrition, has Marianne Williamson's books and Deepak's books all over his house, and, you know, knew all the teachers that I'd been working with. And yeah, so there is a way to do this. So I'm teaching a class on that.
Yes, and I'm sure there'll be more to come. So all three of our panelists, folks, have online communities. They have outreach. There's ways to work with them, which we'll get to later. But what we're going to focus on now that you've got a flavor for their backgrounds, we're going to focus on helping you move forward from here, getting unstuck from feeling, well, I don't know. Some people have written me that they're now numb because it's just when they think something in the world can't get any worse.
That's a symptom of PTSD, by the way, numbness.
And that's where I want to go back to right now. By the way, there's a comment from our live studio audience. Thank you, thank you, thank you for talking about eating disorders, because it's so important that those of us who are seen to be role models come clean, that we're just like you. And so let's talk about the PTSD that's forming right now, the issues that it brings up, how people can learn to sit with the emotion, but not let that emotion become paralyzation. Let that emotion.
I want to share something about this, because, you know, this is something that nobody yet knows about. Your MD won't even know about this. But yet it's published NIH research. So this is so important for people to realize that all it takes is one accident, one illness, or one stress for us to develop PTSD. And what happens is our bodies rapidly excrete magnesium. And when we lose the magnesium, it triggers a chemical imbalance called HPA axis dysfunction. And HPA axis dysfunction instantly causes PTSD. But the good news is that magnesium reverses it. So the very thing we lose can fix it. The problem is that we don't absorb magnesium well orally. So we need to put it on our skin, because when we take it orally, about 20 to 30% is all that we absorb, and the rest becomes diarrhea you poop it out, or you just don't absorb it well. So I was led to Florida to discover this transdermal magnesium called electromagnesium. I don't sell it. I'm not a distributor. I'm not an affiliate, but I use it now with all my patients, and it basically instantly reverses the chemical imbalance that is PTSD.
That's amazing to know. I've worked with people who are training to receive messages from the spirit world, and we deplete our magnesium.
Right.
And so we need that substance, and it's because of the fact that we're raising our vibration so much. There's so many little things that you can do, but what do we say to the person who is in bed with the sheets pulled up over their head saying, I don't want to even face the world. I can't work right now, or I've lost my job.
You know what, if you have, if you've ever had PMS and somebody tries to talk you off the cliff, and it's like, fuck you, I don't even talk to me.
Yeah.
When your chemicals are imbalanced, you cannot be reached. So you have to, the magnesium works like biochemical paddles. It jumpstarts your heart. It reboots your brain chemistry. So I can't even talk to you till we get the magnesium on your skin. But then suddenly it's as if someone turned the lights on. You're calm, but you're receptive. Now your vibration is raised. I can help you reconnect to loved ones in spirit, heal unfinished business, whatever it is. But you gotta replenish the magnesium for your heart and your brain and every vibration to work right.
So there's one game changer right there. So now I want to come to Dr. Erin. What's a game changer that you discovered yourself through the experiences that you've had personally, or through the counseling and the coaching that you've done? And you actually teach people to become coaches and counselors. So what's a game changer that you can share?
I think it's really important right now to look at what's going on. And I think all you guys would agree with it. We have a lineage PTSD. And so what's happening, whether you want to say and really honor the Black Lives Matter and that we can really honor what's happening from the fear of the pandemic. It is a fear that's living at a cellular level, and we would all agree with that through epigenetics. And so, yes, we know that everything begins in mind, because whether you decide to go take that magnesium or whether you decide to get some trauma work done, the biggest thing on my track over 25 years of doing spiritual seeking and work, the most important, yes, meditation is a foundation for all of it. For me, I think we all are coming to an agreement across the board in the spiritual realm. It's trauma work. And so I have a particular formula, which is the E4 trauma method, which goes through and neutralizes the charge on the mental pictures associated with the trauma. And we can track through past lifetimes doing this work as well. And I've seen myself, it was the biggest quantum leap I had in my awakening. And it's the biggest shift I've seen with my clients. And of course, we want to tap in and be one with source and one with divine and have incredible experiences with angels and deities and guides and whatever, but we got to deal with the actual DNA, because oftentimes people will get into the ethereal realm. Like you may even be in your house right now thinking, how do I even get out of this? Because I can't even get tapped in to even get to that ethereal realm. But even if you were, it'd be great to get tapped out and get all ethereal and blissed out. But then you got to deal with your actual DNA. You come back in, you get triggered by whatever else is going on in the next relationship or the next
So you're talking about a cycle that just repeats
all
and
cycle,
repeats,
yes.
and it gets normalized,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Well,
So what's like a first step?
Okay, first step is, it's actually what's happening with Black Lives Matter. And what it is the first process. If I'm dealing with a client and they come, they're upset, we want to acknowledge. Regarding X, Y, and Z, what are you upset about? Regarding X, Y, and Z, what are you upset about? And acknowledge and feel the emotion and express the emotion without backstory, without whatever, just fully expressing what's there. And then when you've taken off enough charge, which we're doing with Black Lives Matter, we're able to acknowledge what is and what happened. And once we do that, then we want to get into the specific traumas or whatever on the track.
So it's acknowledge what is, acknowledge what happened, acknowledge the emotions, because the emotions are energy. And so it's what you do with that emotion next. Do you let that become hate? Do you let that become lashing out on social media with, name calling, or do you make it a constructive thing where maybe you write letters?
You actually, it's not, it's more about just spotting the mental picture. So we actually just want to track, because basically you've given your handed your energy away every single time, your power away, right? So if I'm working with a client, you want to actually no backstory. I want you to just spot the time you were upset. I was upset the time this happened, the time that you just actually want to pick up the mental picture instead of, because what keeps trauma on the track is the backstory and the meaning that you put around it. So actually
we're replaying that backstory.
We're re-energizing it, we're recreating it actually.
Yeah.
The only way to really as is it is to just state the facts and acknowledge the facts instead of making that separation of the gap of realizing I can put the story meaning around it versus what happened and fully experiencing it, as the Vedas say, as it is. And I know all you guys are so brilliant. And I think it's a common thing we're all discovering in our spiritual work is that this is a common, it's like, obviously we all know this now. So let's get to work as a culture. Let's get together as a country. Let's get together globally to do this. And how do we do this? There's, between the four of us, these minds right here, we probably have panels and panels and panels of people that could take people through group processes that would transform this entire world. I'm getting chills right now because it's really what has to happen. We have to come together and we have to do our trauma as our entire brother and sister's family on this planet.
I got that chill down the spine too. And it's about the fact that, we get stuck with blame and shame. Shame for somebody, blame for somebody, whatever it is, as opposed to, oh yeah, I felt that. Here's when I felt that. Here's how I moved through. I mean, you're taking science of mind to this current day, basically, for our science of mind fans, Ernest Holmes. Liz, I want to come to you and ask you, you mentioned Dr. Joe Dispenza, and somebody gave me a gift to a workshop of his recently that I went to. And we were creating in the quantum field, like everything gets created in the quantum field first before it gets made here. And that is the science of mind. That is the, mind is the builder. It's Casey. It's so many philosophies. What are some of the things that you've learned from all these great teachers? And you have them on speed dial. What would you like to share with people that can help them right now?
Well, first of all, I love what Dr. Jamie and Dr. Erin just said. I never knew about the magnesium thing, and it's true. When you take it orally, I know what happens when you take too much orally.
It's soup, Bill. Let's
That's right. Electromagnesium.
Yeah.
And I love what you said, Dr. Erin, about undoing the story, because it really does start there. It's like Byron Katie's work. It's Landmark Forum's work. It's going to the core of where it is. So I just want to share with everybody here that just because now I have worked with pretty much everybody out there except for Oprah and the Dalai Lama.
And you can put that in the quantum field today.
No, but this is not, what I want to explain to you is that we see these leaders, we see these amazing teachers, and they have their stuff too. Believe me, Wayne had his stuff. Deepak has his stuff. Marianne's got her stuff. Everybody has their stuff. So I just want to kind of break that down, including myself.
Are you saying?
I mean, of course, myself.
Don't put anybody on a pedestal, because people are people.
Exactly. They've all got their shit. Okay. So in sharing that, I don't want anybody to feel like, oh, you've got to be up here and you've got to be up here. So when this pandemic hit, and then on top of it, the protests and the George Floyd murder, I kept going down and down and down. And to the point where I know that I can teeter on a level of going into fear and anxiety. And I've worked on this a lot in my life. And at this point, I know for myself, I cannot let myself slip there. I cannot let myself go there too deeply. And I understand feeling your feelings. I get it. So I'm not going to tell you what you need to do. I'm going to tell you what I do. And if you want to extract something out from that, that's great, and see if it works for you or not. First of all, I allow myself to cry and do what I need to do. But I don't let myself do that for too long, because if I do that, it's electromagnesium. Somebody just asked the name of the magnesium product, because it's
No, it's I'll give you a link if you want.
Okay. I will put the link also into the YouTube.
Yeah,
right.
it's ELEKTRA, but it's sold through the Masters of Health. So you got to go to amazon.com/electromagnesium, and they sell it at one particular store, and you got to get it there, or else there's counterfeit products. So I'll get you the links.
Okay, so what I do is this: I allow myself to feel my feelings, but I don't stay there too long.
Right.
And what I do is move myself and have the emotional discipline. And this is one of the keys. This is one of the things that I sort of came up with this whole dating thing, but that's another story. But I push myself to have the emotional discipline to do something different, because what begins to happen in the brain, and you guys all know this, I know you're probably all light workers and healers and spiritual, pathfinders out there, you're on a spiritual journey, is that I don't allow it, because the neural pathways in my brain will then sink into my body, and then I'm in a spiral, and then I'm fucked. All right.
Yep.
So what I do is I put some music on. I do something differently with my physical body. And Joe and I have talked about this, about getting out and moving. So I'll dance. Even if I just do some stretches, or I walk, or whatever it is I can do to shift up this energy. And then I sit down and I start to write. And of all the possible, infinite possibilities in the universe, which possibility am I going to choose right now? And am I going to choose one that doesn't serve me? Or am I going to choose and write about the infinite possibilities that do serve me? And so I write down those thoughts about the infinite possibilities in the universe that will serve me. And then I write down my feelings based on that.
So do you,
and then I write down
how do you structure this? Liz, some people, they want that 1, 2, 3 list.
Yeah, this is a 1, 2, 3 list. Okay,
exactly
ready?
that.
Here it is.
Exactly.
You write down, because I'm a how-to kind of girl. If somebody tells me something, I want to know, well, how am I going to do this? Teaching
I
me
like
how to
what
do
you said
this.
very much about not re-traumatizing yourself, because so many therapies result in re-traumatization because they get too deep into the story, as Dr. Erin is saying, and then you relive it and you're re-traumatized. And then this we do not want. And of course, the magnesium helps to break the chemical cycle that also prevents the re-traumatization. I had an idea also, if I could add something
Actually,
about.
do you mind if I just finish the process? Because I'm not done
Oh,
with the, okay, I'll just finish the process really quickly. Okay, so here's the
I
process.
told you they were powerful.
awesome.
So we're going to get it all out.
Here's what you're writing down. And this has helped shift me many, many times. You're writing down the thoughts that do serve you. You're writing down the feelings that do serve you. And then you're writing down the actions that serve you based on the thoughts and the feelings, okay? And then here's the most challenging part, is that you have to sit down, and this can take 20 minutes because I've done this exercise. Then you sit down and actually visualize you being in one of your most challenging situations, and visualize yourself and feel yourself coming through as your own hero, coming through as, so you see yourself in a really challenging situation, you're futurizing this situation, and you're seeing yourself coming out extremely successful, extremely courageous, extremely solid, clear, confident, like the warrior that you are. And then throughout your day, when you find yourself getting into that negative spiral, boom, you go right to those thoughts that do serve you, that you wrote down that morning. You do this every single day, and you will see the positive changes that unfold in your life. But the key is you cannot skip that step of the visualization and the feeling. So if you're challenged, and I did this with with men because I was afraid of real men. Now, the situation I'm giving you is very small compared to what's going on in the world right now, but I'm just giving you this as an example, okay? So the situation I would visualize myself is in a room filled with very confident, strong, real men, and then me walking in and feeling equal, feeling clear and centered, being able to hold a conversation. And I did that every single day for months, until when I was faced in that situation, that it was with ease. It was because I was repatterning my unconscious mind. So that's what we get to do here. That's what we get to do. And I'm not saying don't feel your feelings, but allow yourself and give yourself things solid to grab onto to get yourself out of it.
And I noticed there's no shame involved in this
No
process.
shame. No.
And I hear this a lot from people. I don't want to have these low vibe thoughts. You cannot control your emotions. You can only control how long you sit with them and what they become.
Well, you can control your emotions. I'm going to have to shift with you on that. I think you can control your emotions.
I'm not there yet. I'm not there
either, but I'm just, with this type of work, yes, you can just kind of get an emotion and say, no, I'm going to choose love here. I'm going to choose, instead of choosing fear, instead of choosing
okay,
trauma.
so you can't stop it from coming in, but you can change how you sit with it. And
there you go.
What you do
totally,
with it.
Totally.
What you do with it. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
And Jamie.
Yeah, boss.
Oh yeah, you were talking also about how we get re-traumatized through therapy. And I know that, Erin can speak to this as well. There's a question from our live studio audience. I'm going to paraphrase because I'm not in it right now, but Terry's asking, you go to a therapist and they all want to do just EMDR, or they just want to do this, or they want to do one thing and they want to do the other. What should people be looking for if they think their challenge right now is just, I'm overwhelmed with what's in the world and I don't know how to be that change? What should they be doing?
So you asking one person in particular to respond? You want us to,
we'll start with you, and then I want to see what Dr. Erin has to say about that.
So my work, has begun with healing the old scars that get reactivated. Because our brains work through association, I know that our unconscious is constantly getting overwhelmed with associations that are triggered by the present day events. I call it the emotional lake effect. And you know how the regular lake, the actual lake effect blizzard, a storm crosses over the Great Lakes, picks up moisture as it sweeps across the reservoir of all that water, and then it dumps this huge storm on the leeward shores. Our unconscious does this constantly. You say one small thing to me and I'm associating to all similar kinds of traumas I had in the past. That's the emotional lake effect. So what I like people to do, and you know you're in the emotional lake effect when you're having an incredibly intense reaction to a seemingly small trigger in the present. It's really strong, you can't shake it. That's a clue that some old scar from your deformative years is afoot.
So it's disproportionate reaction.
You can't shake it. So
Okay.
so like, for example, the coronavirus is constantly giving people these emotional lake effects, because for one of my patients, it was, well, I can't get food. Well, my mother never let me eat what I wanted. And so this was an emotional lake effect for her. So I work very carefully with helping people make the connection to what the original trauma was, not to relive it in order to be re-traumatized, but to make the connection. And when you make the connection, it helps to de-escalate your distress. Oh, this isn't happening now. It's just a feeling memory. It's a phantom of the past. And now I'm able to separate then from now, which is really, really helpful. Really helpful.
That does make a lot of sense. Dr. Erin, your input.
Well, I mean, look, today the attention, right, is talking about the evolution of you, right? I mean, that's the point, right? And no matter if you're kind of in total fear or anything, I really believe that one of the most important things, and I love everything that you guys said. I love journaling. I love doing the trauma, all of it. I think that community is probably, like, if there's one thing to really grab onto right now, because sometimes if we're in that place in our life where we can't get our mind right, and the truth is that we create our emotions. We create our emotions based on the beliefs, and the beliefs become thoughts, and the thoughts become the emotions, and the emotions become the circumstances of our life. The moment you say something's good or bad is the moment you create an emotion. So yes, we are the creator. We are one. We are all the one creator. And so it's important to get in a community, whether it be with one of these lovely ladies or a spiritual center or something, to surround yourself with the atmosphere every single day with right mind. And yes, it's, of course, yes, you want to do your inner trauma work. Yes, you want to have tools like Liz said about journaling. Yes to all of it. But you got to surround yourself, because if you're in an environment alone where you can't get your mind right, or you're with a bunch of people, your family that are spiraling down, it's like going down with this sinking ship. You got to get to the anchor that's going to anchor you in.
And this is the problem right now with isolation.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have a community, but there's many online free communities. There's 12 steps. There's spiritual centers. You should follow your bliss, and whatever that is. Someone speaks to somebody. Someone's going to speak. Someone's going to call it to Liz. Someone's going to be called to Susan. Someone's going to be called to me and Jamie. And you should just follow. What is that breadcrumb that says, I don't know why, and it's scary, because it's going to be scary, because it's going to get you out of your old world, into the new evolution of you. But that's what the universe is saying. I want. It only listens to what you're committed to. And if you're not committed if you're committed to the drama, you're committed to spiraling down with the news, you're committed, it's going to say, and so it is. That's all it does. So the greatest thing you can do is commit to a community that's got your back.
Do you know one of my favorite quotes of yours, and I'll just clean it up a little, but it's, people, listen to me. Nobody is going to effing save you.
That's my quote.
You have to save you, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. I think that's such a good point that you made, Erin, because, we are social animals. We need to be in connection. And, I always say life on earth is our love lab. We're here for one reason only, to perfect our ability to connect to ourselves in love and connect to others in love. And when you're really distressed, it's a symptom of disconnection more than anything else. So I love what you're saying about get into community. And I really, really believe that, when you look at what we're afraid of now, it ultimately comes down to, I'm afraid I'm going to die. I won't have enough money, I'll die. My partner is going to die, I'll die. I'm going to die. So the fear of death, if we can really embrace the truth, I mean, my story in Love Never Dies, it's obvious we don't die. My husband is here all the time. I can't even take a pee in peace. No, I'm back to peeing again. But the thing is, But if you really embrace the truth that we don't die, then you're not afraid so much anymore of, oh my God, all the fear and the terror is I'm afraid to die. That's what it comes down to. And then when you can get rid of that fear and really accept we don't die, well, then you can focus on the connecting in love, which is what, the community and the connection, which is really what it's about.
Yeah,
Yeah, it makes you.
I love that you're all echoing that, because that's what Celebrate Your Life events is all about.
Yes.
Yay! We come together in community, and I can't believe I didn't say that before.
Well, we're all one.
My marketing person is going, Liz, that's all you do. You do community, and we have
We're
about,
all one.
I know we've got about 8,500 people right now in a Facebook group that I've been doing, as a way of serving. We've been doing interviews with Greg Braden, with Sonia Choquette. I did one with her yesterday, and getting everybody in the community. So we're still continuing our community, even though we're online. And Dr. Erin, that's exactly what happens at all of our live events. And that's, half the magic of the speakers, but the other half is really what happens with all the people coming together and joining in community.
And what I've noticed is from community, people will make friends, like 3 or 4 or 5 will have a little group outside of that, and they'll do good work. Like I know some of my students right now that are giving free Reiki treatments to those in need, or free energy healings and things like that. And they're working together, they're growing their skills, they're being of service. So we're encouraging each person, one person at a time, to give. And the best way to take your focus off of you is to help somebody else with no expectation of anything in return. Now, I want to go back to those people that are just feeling paralyzed, numb, in crisis, angry, demoralized. I have an email here that I think is representative of about a couple dozen emails saying, my life is shit, is how it starts. My life is shit. I got a divorce right before the pandemic. I can't go and be with friends the way I need to be with friends. I'm in debt, and I actually want to open a spiritual center at some point in time. Is this crazy? Just to paraphrase here, is this pie in the sky? I just want to give back to the world. You get an email like that.
Chime in on that one.
Yeah, let's do it.
As a mentor would say, he'd say, congratulations on creating shit. You know what I mean? Like it's an accomplishment, right? And we have to understand that the same energy that can create shit can create complete abundance, incredible relationships. And
yes.
So
say
you
it.
can't have one without the other. It's impossible.
Right.
If that's a possibility, then that's the next possibility. Right? It's the same.
You're moving.
Yes.
You're something.
Yes. So I think the first is just to acknowledge and recognize that the same energy that can create that relative experience, if you can do that, you can also do the other. You can't have one. It's the same side of the same coin. And so whoever is speaking out, and I'm sure many people feel like that is the blessing, because that directs you to your truth. You know what you do want. You don't want what you have. And so that's going to be the guiding light for you to know exactly what you do want. And that's half of the battle, is knowing what you want and don't want. So amen. Amazing. Congratulations.
And let that energy of, yeah, I did that. That's what I don't want now. Let that energy propel you forward, right?
Yes. Use that energy. Use the emotion.
Use it, because it's all the emotions are energy. And I think people forget that this is a real thing. The things that you say and think are real energies around you, and they start manifesting. So, let me see. I think I have another question in here in the Q&A box. If not, I've got a million of them here from the email. I'm going to take an email question right now. It is such a long question. I'm going to try to paraphrase this one. I have family members that we are not speaking to because of political divisions. And it's been suggested that we go to therapy. Nobody wants to go to therapy for differences in politics. How can we love each other? Now, I've got to tell you, I mentioned this, I did a live stream yesterday, just spur of the moment. A woman that I know who's been in my online classes, I've seen her at conferences, and she always talks about her big family, and we're always talking about, what books they're reading or whatever. She emailed me and said, we're 3 generations and we're in shelter in place. We've never spent this much time together, but you know, there's underlying health conditions and stuff like that. So we're taking our time getting out in the world. And during coronavirus, we were very happy together and we were glad to have the time together. Now that we are having to face, and we need to face, the racial divisions in this country after the murder of George Floyd, now it's politics. And when we come to the dining room table, we have nothing to talk about. In fact, we're angry with each other, which is very sad. So I want to start with Liz. What would you say to this person who's like, you know, one tragedy brought them all together to spend time together, and then the next tragedy has made them choose teams, so to speak? What advice would you give that if that was one of your friends? What would you say?
I would say that their family is a microcosm of what's going on in the world.
Yes.
So if we're unable to create peace at our own dining room table with people that we might not agree with, then how do we expect it to happen on a global level? Because it all begins here. So I would recommend that each one of those people go inside, and understanding that we're you know, there are people that I love and adore that are the complete opposite with me with what's going on right now. I'm shocked by it because I think everybody should agree with me. That's the Leo in me. Thank you very much. But I get it. And I think there's we have to go within and realize that it's all about love and it's all about peace. And how can I be the facilitator? And it just can start with one person at that dining room table to say, how can I facilitate peace and choosing love and peace in this very, very moment? What is my intention?
I love that. And also remembering that everything's temporary. Everything's temporary.
Absolutely. Oh, my camera just went blurry. I'm a little blurry.
Sorry,
guys. Okay, I'll sit still.
Maybe it's technical. Maybe the spirit world is just surrounding you right now.
No, it's when I move too much, the camera gets blurry. Okay, I'll sit really still.
Yeah, you know, but you know, I did. When I'm going back and forth, and it's on email with her, she says, you know, it's basically one relative. All conversation paths lead back to one issue, and so.
Well, you can actually make a game of this too. If everybody has the intention that we don't want to get into argument about politics, we don't want to be upset about it, we don't want to be, you know, do your own work if you're upset about what's going on in the world, and then make a game out of this where someone in the family every night has to come up with 5 questions outside of politics and go around and do like interview style, like things like, what's your favorite movie? What, you know, you can learn things about what's your most embarrassing moment? What happened to you in high school that was a defining moment for you? Why did you choose this path of the career? Just come up with other ways to engage in conversation and discussion. And you can Google that online.
They'll forget about it.
Yeah. But the rule has to be, right, everybody has to be in agreement, you know, put your hands in a circle and go, okay, go team, go, or pinky swear that we're not going to bring up this topic because it just triggers everybody. And we all love each other. We just have different beliefs.
That's exactly
right. It's a big word, right?
You know that this is called a value conflict. I have a whole chapter in the Kiss Your Fights Goodbye book. And what you just said is so correct. It's like you wrote the chapter in the book, that you don't talk about things that are value laden. You just don't, because that's like saying I'm asking a leopard to change its spots. Who said that one spot is in the wrong spot on that leopard? You know, I have to respect your spots, you respect mine, but we don't have to talk about it, and we shouldn't. And if you keep focusing on what both of you are saying, what we're all saying is we're here to connect. So I'm not going to say anything that's going to break our connection. We just don't talk about it. You know, religion, sex, politics, you know, sexual positions, practices, these are all values. I'm not going to tell you doggy style is bad. Fuck it, you know, do it, whatever.
We always talk like that at my dinner table, you know, where that's the topic of discussion always.
Yeah, tell us, you know, Dr. Love, Jamie, can you tell us about this spiritual Viagra that you mentioned earlier?
Oh, I was so obscene. What did I say? What did I said, oh, you said that we shouldn't need a medium to help us reconnect to spirit. And I said, yeah, that's like you're advocating. We don't need to take a Viagra to get Did I say to get to get? I don't know what the hell I said. I don't remember. But you get the idea.
It was very funny though. I can't remember. Yeah.
And this is the thing.
You got to have a sense of
outside.
humor,
Looking
right?
outside
You
of
have
us
to have a sense of
constantly.
humor about all this.
Yeah, you have to have a sense of humor, and you don't have to look outside for humor. In fact, if you look outside right now, you might see more anguish than humor. But I laugh at myself all the time. I mean, you know, I burnt dinner the other night, and I just got hysterical because I was like, oh, I got so intense about it. I'm like, this is ridiculous. This is stupid. We can eat frozen pizza. You know, what's the big
Right.
deal? But the thing is, we're all in this together right now, but we're not all in the same boat. You know, my boat is a boat of privilege. First off, I'm white. I'm not wealthy, but I'm white. So there's a privilege right there. But there are people who, the boat they're in is they were right on the edge before the pandemic. And now, you know, they're scraping, you know, money together just to pay the bills, just to eat. And so it's easy for hopelessness to come in, which leads me to my final question. The tenor of the emails that I've received is, I've lost hope. And you know, when you get those, it just gets you, you know, right here in the biscuits, gets you right here when you hear I've lost hope. What do you say to someone who says, I've lost hope? How do I find it? Who would like to take that first? Okay, Liz, I saw your hand.
I had a beautiful conversation with Sonia Choquette yesterday. If you don't know Sonia, her work is just astounding. She's written over 27 books, just an amazing spiritual teacher. And I'll post the link in a second to where the conversation is posted. And she stated it so beautifully. And one of the pieces, and this goes back to what Dr. Erin was talking about. First of all, losing hope. Stay in your lane. Meaning, and this is what I tell myself a lot, Liz, stay in your lane. Meaning, if I'm going out, I'm not a political activist, although I'm getting involved with some organizations now. That's not my lane. It's not my expertise. Staying in your lane allows you to focus on what's important to you and what's important to your heart. And so just keep remembering who you are, keep remembering what you're here to do, keep remembering, because no matter, and she said this so beautifully, no matter whether you are, you know, in a store that's your job to sweep floors. You sweep floors the best that you know how to do, whether you are, you know, now my entire staff, we're not working together anymore. So, and I'm trying to figure out, how are we going to do? Our mainstay is live events. That's what we do. So now I'm figuring out, okay, how do we serve the community and do online? So I'm staying in my lane in terms of the way that I serve. And that in and of itself gives me hope, that knowingness. But there were some beautiful things, and I can't even paraphrase it, but there are just some beautiful things that Sonia said in that conversation. And I'll post the link to the group. It's the CYL Online Soul Fest group. Just ask to join the group, and all these great conversations with Greg Braden are in there, with Denise Lynn, with Sonia Choquette, Sue Mortar, that you can go in and listen to.
Is that the best way to join your community at this time, is the online?
Yeah, that's what I would do. I mean, it's a free thing, and it's nice and easy. I just posted the link to the group. And just go in there and ask to join the group. But there's all these free videos that we've done, because it's important that we all keeping hope. For me, it keeps me on track when I only look at those things again. Then I'm not trying to say we have to walk around with blinders on. I know what's going on out there. I know the shitstorm. I'm a member of Sean King's activist group. I don't need to see it anymore, because it's depleting my energy to do what I need to do in the world.
Right. You need to be an informed,
Exactly.
World citizen, but don't be immersed.
Exactly.
In all of it, right?
Keep your eye on your ball, and only go to those social media sites. Forget about your news feed for right now. Go to those groups that uplift you. Go to those communities, as Dr. Erin was saying, that uplift you. And that will
right? When you feel
Connect you.
connected, when you
Yes.
feel connected, you don't feel empty and hopeless. Because if you're just focusing in the now during really rough times, if you just stay in the now and connect from the heart to another person, you don't feel hopeless. In this moment, I'm connected to you.
And know that
Exactly.
all four of us on this panel today, we're here to help you, but we're also here to tell you we're in it too. You know, we're in it too. Don't put us on pedestals, but hopefully some of our experiences can be helpful to you. Dr. Jamie, how do people work with you?
Uh, well, the the best way is to go to askdrlove.com, but I'm offering now for everybody who's watching live, I'm doing a very reduced energetic system upgrade. And they can find that at drjamieturndorf.com/energetic system upgrade. And whatever it is, if you need to reboot emotionally, physically, spiritually, reconnect, heal, and finish business with someone on earth or spirit, you have PTSD, whatever it is, the energetic system upgrade will give you that that instant reboot that you need. Here, I'll type it in for you because I can't spell my name half the freaking
And for
time.
those of you watching live stream or replay on YouTube, go down and I will have all of these links available for you. So, Dr. Erin, what do you say to the people who've lost hope, and how do people work with you?
You know, first thing that comes to mind is Eckhart Tolle when he, didn't want to live anymore. And there was all of a sudden you realize there was a voice that didn't want to live anymore, right? So we have to know the blessing. We have to know the perfection of wherever we're at. We have to know that we are exactly where we're supposed to be as a species, as oneness. And we have to see and know that there is something, always a blessing, always a blessing, always a lesson in all of it. And what we resist persists. So the more we resist our hopelessness, the more it's going to persist. So I think it's important to recognize the perfection of whatever that is. And then of course, everything everyone said here is, when you do, obviously if you're having that heart, please reach out if you need, if you're really that. I think every one of us didn't want to live at one point in time. That's probably why we're sitting on this panel. So if you don't feel like something's wrong on this planet, then probably, I think that's even more weird to me, so I'm thankful for everything going on. I'd rather see us going through the breakdown for the breakthrough than pretending like everything's okay, so I would just say, again, find the right community. I'll put ours as well. We have a free community in Soulciété called Inner Circle. We do have support groups 5 times a week. The ambassadors teach support groups, everything from business, spiritual business, to recovery, to the transformational work, to everything. So it's really important to most communities will have some part of it that's free. And then when you're called and you experience it, and if it speaks to you, then there's always different ways of getting involved, whether it be serving or whatever. But I think the greatest thing that all of us can do is doing what we can do. And if somebody's feeling great, then help somebody and mentor them. If you're feeling down, reach up for somebody, and we're all in this together. And you just have to, either succumb and really embrace feeling hopeless and allowing divine to do what it's going to do in that. Or if you have inspired action, then reach out before, while you got the energy, go get it done.
Exactly. And I've been enjoying Good Morning LaLa Land, and it's changed a little bit. Do you want to tell us
It is.
about what you're
Well, yeah, I'm inspired by Dr. Jamie because I've been doing Dr. Erin and during this time and quite frankly, Good Morning LaLa has been amazing to bring truth to the world. But these teachings are so important that we're all doing, and the world needs truth more now than ever. And so I've been doing the Dr. Erin and we're doing some call-in. I teach metaphysics. We do whatever, and everyone does their part. We're one big family taking the truth out to the world. So I just want to say I appreciate you guys all so much, and any way I can serve and help you guys, have you on, interview you, and vice versa. And it's so important that we all, especially as women, really help each other rise up. And I'm just so taken by all your guys' work. It's really profound and really honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
And I will tell you, these are exactly the people that I wanted to present to you guys today. I just put it out to the universe. They'll say yes. They said yes. It's no accident that you're seeing this recording. Share it with a friend and know that no one is loved more than you. We're all connected. We're all one. I want to thank all of my panelists, Dr. Erin Haskell, Dr. Jamie Turndorf, Liz Don Donahue. Encourage you to follow them and know that you're not alone. I have seen people make lifelong friendships through each of these groups that these strong women offer. And that is invaluable, my friends. You can check me out at carefreemedium.com. My next class is called Soul Power, Be Intuitive. It starts in July. It's online, baby. We're all being online now.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you and for watching and send you love with a capital L. That's not like I love pizza, but I send love from my heart to yours. So thank you, everybody, and have a blessed day. Bye-bye.